So now, you finished your first app, an animal sound out. 8 of your favorite animals that you have buttons for. When you click on them, they actually say this is the name of the animal and it plays the animal sound. The app actually also talks to you by saying welcome and reading this message to you when it opens up. So you built it out using components. You've used a couple things from the palettes, including a button, text-to-speech, sound, and a label. You've renamed your components here. You've used the media area here to upload your various media, and you also changed a bunch of properties for the components you've used. The background, you've coded screen initialize, you've coded so we coded text-to-speech, we've coded with to play the sound, and we also coded whenever the events, which are you click on the button. We tested our app as well using either AI Companion to actually test it live, or you've installed it on your phone using the QR code. So now, how do we turn this in? We have a great app. We want to promote it to the world. You can promote it on, if you wanted to save your app and put it on the Google Play Store, you could do that. Later on in this school year, I'll show you how to do that. But for right now, you're going to build a portfolio page. So basically, how apps get installed on phones. There's something called an APK. It stands for Android Package Kit. And these APK files are basically housed on the Google Play Store. When someone clicks install, they download that APK from the Google Play Store. It installs on their phone, and they're able to install the app. So we're going to need access to your APK file. We're going to build on your student portfolio page a web page that's going to have a QR code for people to scan. And that QR code is simply going to be a link to your APK file. So to begin, we need your APK file. We're going to need that to build a QR code that can be scanned forever. Now, you might think I want to build and provide QR code for APK. You don't want to do that because we're building a portfolio page that will be anyone can scan and install the app forever. This QR code option is only valid for 2 hours. So right now it's 2:30. At 4:30, this QR code would not link to your APK any longer. So what we want to do is save APK to my computer. And what it's going to do is compile your code if your code does not have errors. And it's going to provide you with a file once it gets to 100% that you're going to be able to generate a QR code for, and people can install your app forever. Simply send them the web address to your portfolio page and you should be able to install that app. So you can see it's 100% progress. Then it's going to come up. I'm going to save it. I'm going to make a folder inside of my called APK. Actually, and this is called animal sounds. So you can see it saved my animal sounds APK. If I wanted to see it, show it in Finder. You can see it shows up there, and there is no default program because this is a Mac or a Windows, and it doesn't know what an APK file is. It only works if you have a Google Chromebook and you actually did this. It wouldn't understand it, and you can actually install it and see how it works on your Chromebook. So we have our APK file. Now we need to go ahead and start to build out our portfolio page and our QR code. So back on our class page, click on portfolio. You're going to go to your game and app design portfolio. This is my standard one. And you can see under, on the left side, you have my app's first grading term. This is what the portfolio page will look like at the end. You can see you have an image of your app. You have a description, you have some coding blocks, you have some reflection questions, and you have this QR code. So underneath first grading term, you can see right here it says new posts. Go ahead and click on that. And this is where you're going to actually make out your page. You're going to change this, my first app, animal sounds. Very simple. Inside of the text, we're going to do all the text first, and then we'll add all the pictures and the bells and whistles. We're going to say description. So you're going to do description, a title, and then underneath that, you're going to type a description about your app. When people come to this page, they need to know what your app is. My app plays my favorite animal sounds. Click on the lion, la 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 la. No one's just going to install your app, but if you have a good description, they'll say, hey, that's pretty cool, I might want to install it. Underneath that, you're going to have code blocks. Underneath that, you're going to have reflection, questions, and underneath that, you're going to have QR code. And underneath QR code, you want to put this sentence: scan the QR code below to install this app on your Android device. So, coding blocks and reflections, I'll show you where to grab that, but let's focus on this QR code. We have our page here, but you can see on the left side you need one other area, My Files. I'm going to right click, and you can see I opened it up in a new tab. So here I have my main page, and here I have my files page. So under my files, you can see you can add a bunch of files. You can delete files. I already have this file uploaded, so I'm going to delete it. So your page should look like this. And you want to add that APK file you just downloaded. You can see I have it here. And simply push OK. So now under my files I have Animal Sounds APK, and I can download it. What I basically did is put my APK file up on the internet. And we're going to need a link back to this file to install it, because QR codes are simply a barcode for you to go to a link. It could be a file, it could be a video, it can be anything. But you have to have something on the internet, then you can generate a QR code. So we have our link. It's actually right here. I right click. You can see I want to do copy link address. So now I actually have a link to that. And just to prove it, if I paste this in here, you can see this is the link to that APK file. Right. All this. So how do I generate a QR code? We're going to go to qrstuff.com. And qrstuff.com is a simple QR code generator. It's going to ask you, and you can see you have a bunch of types. You could make QR codes for telephone numbers and YouTube videos and website URLs and a bunch of things, Skype calls. A really simple one and it's free. So simply in your web URL, I'm going to paste that link that I had. You can see it says dynamic URL as is. I can click this. Once I click back to static, it changed my QR code. I can download it, or I can use a snipping. In Windows, you're going to do a search for SNIP, Windows 7 or higher, and there's something called the snipping tool. You click on it. It'll make your screen gray. You simply drag around and you're able to snip. On Mac, you can grab a snipping tool like this, or you can do Command-Shift-3 or Command-Shift-4. You get your icon like this, and you can see I can drag around, and that copies the QR code to my desktop. So I have my QR code. If I clicked on download, you can see they want you to download it. You don't want to do any of that. You don't want to do all this. So that's why I told you to simply grab a snippet of that. So we have our file. We don't need this files anymore. We have this. Scan the QR code below. Let's go ahead and add our QR code in. On this line, I'm going to do insert, image, upload. On Macs, they go to your desktop. You can see that's the QR code I just took at 239. Click OK. And I click OK. So now this QR code is good forever. And what this QR code links to is actually the APK file listed under My Files. So if someone with an Android phone scans this, it's simply going to link to that APK file, just like the Google Play Store, and try to install that app on their phone. And the reason why you're doing it this way is you want this to be good forever. Under Build, Provide QR Code for APK, this option only gives you an option for 2 hours. And we don't want that. If you send your page to your friends, you want it to be good forever. So we have our QR code part finished. So code blocks. Every app that you're going to build, I'm going to ask you for certain blocks and then to explain those blocks. And also every app you're going to have reflection questions. And I'll show you where to get those. Let's deal with code blocks first. So back in App Inventor, go to blocks. I want you to grab 2 different blocks. I want you to grab the screen initialize block and one of your button blocks. So I'm just going to take button dog. Go ahead and I'm going to use my capture. Simply do this and save it, or I can do Command Shift 3. So this is my initialize on a Mac. Remember, on a Windows you're going to do the snipping tool, do a search for SNIP. You should see it on Windows 7 or higher machines. Simply grab it, save your images. So I grab the image of my screen initialize and my screen, or any one of our buttons. So under code blocks, I'm going to go ahead and insert that same way. Insert image, upload. It should be, this is my screen initialize. Click OK. Then underneath it, bold, explain what this code block does. So I want you to go ahead and put that code block there, and I want you to explain what this code block does in your own words. I want you to do the same thing for the other code block, which was your button. So right now you can see you have description. You should have a original description. Code blocks, I want the screen initialize block. I want you to explain what that block does, or the coding blocks in there does. You have this block. I want you to explain what this coding block does. Then you have your reflection questions, the last part of this puzzle. So back on our class page, underneath first grading term, you can see my first app, Animal Sounds. Click on that lesson. And if you look at it, everything we've done, the video is actually there on how to build this Animal Sounds app. But also turning it in on your portfolio, the instructions are there as well. You can see I went to first grading term, new post, I typed that, I told you to type a description. Here's the reflection questions. I want you to copy this, come back over here, paste it in. Very simple. You can change the color back to whatever it is. So you have the question. In your own words, describe the process of creating your first app. Include any components that you use. You use 4: button, text-to-speech, sound, label, and how you use them. Describe how you coded your app. Number 2 is describe any difficulties in creating your first app. Describe how you overcame any of these problems to create your first app. So, obviously, I want you to question your original answer here. So with that, you have a description, you have your coding blocks with the explanation of what each block, you have reflection questions that you're going to answer, you have your QR code, and lastly, we need to put what your app actually looks like here. So let's go back to App Inventor, last part of this, click on Designer. I want to have a picture of what my app actually looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Command Shift 4 on my Mac. I drag around this area here. Now I want to insert that, and I want to put it here and left align everything else. So I click in front of the description. I'm going to do Insert Image like I've done before. I'm going to go ahead and find that picture. Click on Open. Click OK. And you can see it pushes everything down. But you can see every image has this kind of pop-up menu. So it's left aligned. I can do center or whatever. If I want it left aligned. I can do small, medium, large, original size. Then this option right here, wrap on. I want the wrap actually on. When I click that, you can see all of my text that I did, description, all that stuff wraps around the text. And with that, your portfolio page is complete. Go ahead and push save. So now it's saved. You can see this is your website link. If you actually copied this and emailed it to someone, or you clicked on share and you sent it through email, anyone can see this page. They can see your app, they can see your description, they can see your questions, how you built it. And then if they scan it, they actually can install this app right now on their Android phone or tablet. So try it out. Send it to a friend. See if they can install your app. Ask them for feedback and see how it is. When they send the page, when you share your page by simply copying here or clicking share, at the very bottom it has comments. So people can come and actually comment on your app. Hey, this is a great app. I love it. Why don't you add a cow? So I want you to do that and see what type of feedback you get on your first app. Now, you have your app page here, but how do you turn it in to get graded? And how do you get points? Remember, so I'm going to copy this page. And again, everything is on the page. You can see coding blocks, you can see QR code, all this stuff. And you can see the finished page. Then at the very bottom of every lesson, it's going to tell you to upload your assignment, your actual page. And if you simply follow these instructions, it's self-explanatory. So upload the file to your portfolio page. Copy the web address of your portfolio reflection page. So I'm coming here, right click, I'm going to do copy. So it says copy the web address of your portfolio reflection from your browser into a text document, Notepad. While on Macs we don't have Notepad, we have text edit. So I'm going to do a new text edit file. And I'm going to paste that in. Let's minimize some of these. So next it says save the file as date login my first app. For example, 09/01/14 Gant my first app.txt. So let's save that. And I'm going to save it in that same place. Pictures, Gant Tech app design, my first app, and it was the date 09/01/15 Gant, my first app. Click Save. Now upload the file. So basically you're going to upload this file that has your web link in it. So obviously it was pictures, Gant Tech, app design, where did I save it? And it was this file, and I upload it. Click. So I click on upload, and when I do that, it's going to mark your assignment as complete. Like this, you can see it turned green. You also can see that you should have been added some points that you can use from the class point system. So with that, you have successfully built out your portfolio page that looks like this, including a description, coding blocks, reflection, and QR code, and an overall picture of your app. You've also successfully turned it in. And if I go back to that page where you upload it, once you upload it, at the very bottom, you can see the file that you actually uploaded. So you can click on it and you can't upload it anymore. So go ahead and complete your app, successfully turn it in, and you can start on your next project.